What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It is Hart, and today we have another NBA DFS slate breakdown. Tonight's a four-gamer. Warriors Orlando, Atlanta New York Knicks, Chicago Milwaukee, and the Clippers and Denver. Before I jump into it, if you're new to this channel, please hit that like button, subscribe. Welcome to my channel. My name's Hart. I make DFS videos on PGA, NFL, NBA Top Shot, and NFL All Day. I'll have an NFL All Day video premium pack opening coming out, I believe, later today, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at HeartDFS. Be answering any questions you guys may have. And yeah, let's just jump into it. This is going to be a pretty quick one. I kind of like it that way right now, just giving some quick insight on who I'm looking at, what I like, and then kind of going from there. Starting off with this Golden State Orlando game. I know this game, the Chicago Milwaukee game, and the Clippers Denver game, they're all 7.5 to 8 point spreads. So the Warriors are favored by 8, Milwaukee's favored by 8, and Denver is favored by 8. And so the only game that Vegas sees staying close is this Atlanta New York Knicks game. So what to see. But for this Golden State Orlando game, Golden State side, Steph is out. He got injured, so Jordan Poole has been filling in. Let's go to the all view. Clay's at the top at 8-1. They kind of raised his price now that Steph's out. Going to have a lot more usage and shooting opportunities, even though he already has a ton. He hasn't been shooting the ball well this year at all. I think he's had one game in the 50s, fantasy point-wise, or 60. Other than that, he's had a really low floor, so at 8-1, not the best price for him. Everyone's going to be gravitating towards Jordan Poole, who's been playing great this year. So yeah, he's going to have a ton of usage. Jordan Poole, starting guard, taking a ton of shots. He's shooting really well this year. So he's going to have a ton of ownership. So if you want to go that route, you can. Andrew Wiggins is also questionable, so that's something you got to keep an eye out on. Listed probable, so it looks like he will play. I do like him at this price at 7-1. He doesn't have a huge upside that you're looking for in tournaments, but he does have a pretty consistent floor of around 30. People are going to have to shoot the ball, so I do like him a little bit. Draymond at 6K. I think he's my favorite play on this side. I know he got ejected in this last game against the Spurs, but he should see his minutes increase closer to 25 to 30. And he does have that triple-double upside. Obviously, he's not a great scorer, but with Steph out, maybe he'll take a few more shots. We'll have to see. I know Otto Porter Jr. had a massive game, 16 and 16. I think people are going to chase that. He did play close to 30 minutes, but I don't, expect a 16-rebound game again. It's going to come down more to his average of maybe 5, 6, 7 at most. So I don't think you get to chase that. And Kuminga still getting some good run, I believe. Yep, mid-20s. I'd say my favorite play on this side, Gary Payton getting a little bit of run. I'd say my favorite play on this side is going to Draymond Green at 6K, followed by Kuminga at 4-3. He'll get mid-20s run even if it's, a blowout. But if it's a blowout, he's going to get even more. So I do like him as my second option. And then I'd say Clay at the top, 8-1. He is priced up. I don't think people are going to want to pay that for him. They'd rather go to Jordan Poole. So if you want to avoid the chalk, I'd say go up to Klay Thompson. Hope he has a good shooting game. Orlando side, we have Wendell at the top, 8-4. I think it's a great spot for him. He's been playing really well as of recently, and pretty much this whole year. He's a double-double machine, shooting the ball really well. And I do, really like him in the spot against the small front court or back court of Kevin Looney or Kuminga. So I do like Wendell at the top. Cole Anthony at 6'3". I think it's a great spot for him. He doesn't shoot the ball well, but he does jacket a ton. And he's, pretty good at getting some assists. So I do like him at 6'3", especially with not having to guard Steph. I think it's a perfect spot for Cole Anthony. Franz, 5'6" is not a bad price tag for him, but it's kind of cooled off a little bit, coming down to the norm. I don't think you have to go there. Same with Mo Bamba. It's just kind of one of those dart throws. You got to hope he has a good scoring game. Otherwise, he's not going to get you there. I know Fultz is playing today, and he won't play tomorrow, so you could expect to see around 20 minutes from him. I think this is an interesting spot for him, 4-2. As we can see, he does have upside into the 30s if he's playing well and getting a bunch of assists. I know Orlando's not the best shooting team, but I do think he's I'd say he's the best play on the side, just simply due to the fact that he's, only for tournaments. It's either a hit or miss. Either he's going to get you close to the 30s or he's going to get you like 15 fantasy points at 4-2. So I do think he'll be a little bit popular, but people are going to gravitate towards Jordan Poole on the Golden State side or like Wendell and Cole Anthony at the top. I do really like Fultz at 4-2. All right, time to speed things up a little bit. I know I spent about 5 minutes talking about that game, but Atlanta, New York, we have Trae Young on the top, 10-4. I think this is a perfect spot for him. It's at New York. They hate him. He loves to play well there, so I think it's a nice little game narrative if you like that stuff, if you believe in that stuff. So I think you fire up Trae Young, 10-4, bang, put him in the lineup. Let's do it. Capella, 6-4. He's been really disappointing this year. Last year he had a lot of double-double upside with Trae Young, throwing a bunch of lobs. But this year he's really dropped down. Even with John Collins out, you'd expect him to get, at least a few more looks, especially with pick and rolls. But he's just been disappointing. I don't know if you do other at 6-4. Bogdan is questionable. You have to keep an eye on this because he has been playing pretty well off the bench for them, getting a lot of run. So if he is in, I'd fire Bogdan up at 6-2. Good spot for him. This game is probably going to have a little bit slower pace. New York likes to play slow, but I do like Bogdan at 6-2. Kevin Huerter just hasn't been good this year at all. His price is on a 5-2, usually in about 30 minutes, but I don't know if you to go there. Gallo had a huge game last game, 41 minutes, 27-5. I think people are going to chase that as well. He should get about 30 minutes, but I would give the edge to Kevin Huerter if it came down to picking between those two. I do like DeAndre Hunter at 5K, Same thing for pretty much all their small forwards or shooting guards. They haven't been having a great season. DeAndre's been pretty consistent when it comes to, just scoring mid-20s to 30s fantasy points. He's getting a ton of run, but at 5K, I'd say he's my favorite play out of Gallinari and Hunter, or Gallinari and Huerter, just because I think DeAndre has a little bit more upside with steals and blocks, and he could definitely shoot the ball just as well as both of them, so I do like Hunter the best out of these three. Delon Wright played 27 minutes. So he's back to a bench role. I think people are going to chase that 4-6. I don't think he gets to go there. And yeah, that's about it. I'd say if he plays on the side or Trae, the first one, then Bogdan, and then Hunter. I don't think you have to go anyone else. New York side, we have Randall, who is out, which is huge news. So that just means a lot more usage for RJ Barrett, Alec Burks, Fournier, and Quickly. I do think Quentin Grimes, now that he's back from being injured, I think you could see, closer to 20, 25, maybe in 30 minutes. They're going to need someone to score off the bench. This game, if it does blow out, he's going to get some run. So I do like Grimes here at 3-7. I think he's a good value play. But obviously RJ Barrett and Alec Burks and Fournier. If I had to choose, I'd go RJ and Burks over Fournier just because Fournier is very reliant on shooting. But, he's been playing decent most games, I'd say. But, yeah, so I'd rank it RJ at the top for number one pick on the side. Then I'd say then Burks and Quickly would be like 2A, 2B for me. Yeah, I'd say, actually let me rephrase. I'd go Quickly, Barrett, Burks, and then Grimes as your value play on the side. Moving on to Chicago and Milwaukee, I think this game might be a blowout. We got news that Zach is now questionable for injury management. So if he's out, I think it's a huge blow for Chicago. I don't know how they're going to stop Giannis. So even though DeRozan's at a great price, 8.6, he hasn't been playing that well recently, especially the Bulls as a whole. But I do think it's a great price for him. Same with Vooch. If Zach's out, that's going to be, more run and usage for Io and Kobe. Maybe even Pat, even though he's still going to be on a little bit of minutes restriction. But if Zach is out, I'd say definitely look to Kobe or Io to fill in that space. I'd say lean more towards Kobe. He's a little bit better of a shooter and scorer than Io. But as we see, Io does get some good amount of assists. Caruso is starting, so I'd say fire him up. He's going to get close to 30 minutes. Not the best shooter, but he does, get you some rebounds, assists, steals, maybe even some blocks. So at 4-1, easily going to pay off that price tag. We'll add him into the core as well. And then I just don't really like this side. I just think it's going to blow out. Chicago's not been playing well, so I think you should probably avoid them. Play Caruso, maybe Kobe White if the game does blow out, because they'll still get some run. But other than that, I think you can just avoid that game. Giannis is now questionable. This is a game to keep an eye out on, because if Giannis is questionable, Chris Middleton is out against the Bulls, so it looks like this game is going to be the one to stack with all the value. So that reminded my Bulls take. Didn't realize that Chris Middleton, has been ruled out. Giannis is probable, so that puts Giannis in a lot better of a spot at 12-1. The price tag is up, but with Middleton out, I say it does lessen the blowout risk. Drew Holiday at 7-8, I think it's a great spot for him. Even with Caruso being a good defender, I think Drew's going to be able to get his own. Bobby Portis at 6'6 is an enticing option. Vooch is terrible at defense. Bobby's really come down to earth the past 4 games when it comes to shooting. And I do think this is a decent spot, revenge game narrative. Bobby used to play on the Bulls, so I think you can definitely go to Bobby Portis at 6'6. Not the best price, but I do like it, even with Brook Lopez back. Oh, they did put him in the starting lineup. Didn't see that. I still like Bobby. His price is up. People are not going to go there, but I do think he could have a good game off the bench. Kind of 10, 20 minutes. I don't think he to go there. So I'd say the best plays on this side are... Did Nwora get any run? 20 minutes. Yeah, so I think all the best plays, obviously Giannis at the top, then Drew Holiday, and I'd say Bobby. That's, the 3 guys at the top from, that's where I'd go. In the last game of the day, Clippers versus Denver, we got Reggie Jackson at the top, 7-2. I think he's a good pivot play off of Jordan Poole. As you can see, he does pretty much do everything for the Clippers, and if they are keeping this game close, it's probably going to be due to Reggie Jackson having a great game. So he is pretty interesting at 7-2, even in this matchup against Denver. Zubac, I just don't know if you can trust him against Jokic. I think there's going to be some foul trouble for Zubac. So I'd say maybe look to Isaiah Hartenstein, even though Isaiah Hartenstein's even worse at defense and loves to foul. Who else? Marcus Morris at 5'6". Going to get you mid-30s minutes. I think you had to, pick this price at 5'6" for Marcus Morris. He's kind of scoring dependent, but if you think it's going to stay close, it's going to be because of Jackson and Morris. And then I don't know if you really have to go to anyone else on this side. All these guys kind of have one good game and they kind of fall off. Like Covington. I know they throw Coffee in there as well. Luke, Batum. I just don't really think you have to chase any of these guys. I think if this game stays close, it's due to Marcus Morris and Reggie Jackson. So I'd go one of those two. Maybe take a shot on Isaiah Hartenstein if you want. He's been playing decent. He's kind of like a JaVale McGee role, but a little bit better offensively. So I don't mind that at 4-8, especially if Zubac has foul trouble. And then on Denver side, 12-4 for Jokic. I think Giannis is probably going to be a little bit more higher owned than Jokic. But if you want to go Jokic, that's perfectly fine. Bones Highland has been coming up to 5'3". He's been getting a good amount of run, 20, getting into 30s as of recently. So I do think if you want to go Bones, you can. He's a little bit score independent, but 5'3", it's not a bad take on him. Will Barton's price dropped to 5'1". I think you lock this in. Been playing terribly as a late, 4 points, 10, 8. But he can have a good shooting game. Get you into the 30s, even 40s, fancy point rise. So I do like Barton in the spot. Aaron Gordon, don't think it to do it. And Monte Morris. I do like Monte in this spot as well. It seems like their guards have been playing pretty bad recently. Bones have been getting a little bit more run. So I kind of do like Monte and Will Barton in this spot. And then the last guy I would look to is possibly DeMarcus. He's been getting, close to 20 minutes, 15 to 20, since signing with the Nuggets. As we can see, he could put up a monster amount of fancy points in little time, right there. 55 in 24 minutes. That's insane. The backup, Isaiah Hartenstein, I don't think he's going to be able to handle DeMarcus. So I think this is a nice sneaky play for DeMarcus in this spot against the Clippers. I think it's a revenge game too. I think he was on the Clippers at one point. Not sure. But that does it for me today, guys. I just want to say, thank you for tuning in. Please hit that like button, subscribe. I have a new channel, trying to really grow it. Getting a little bit more traction with the daily uploads. So I'm going to have some new and interesting content coming out when it comes to these NBA slate breakdowns. I think one way I'm going to take it is do these more in-depth breakdowns of kind of talking about every game and who I like, who I don't like, and I'm going to have a nice, cool, I don't know how to describe it. I guess shorter length video, maybe 5 minutes max, it's going to highlight the top picks of the day at that time. I think it's going to be a really cool concept that no one really has done so far in this DFS space. It will help set me apart from the rest. Sorry if I sound nasally and bad. And for the stuttering, pretty sick. So hopefully get over that soon. But I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in, and I look forward to making another video later tonight, breaking down the NBA slate for tomorrow, as well as I think hopefully uploading an NBA or NFL all day premium pack opening. Thanks guys. See you.